The Jahalin Bedouin tribe lived a traditional semi-nomadic life for hundreds of years in the Negev desert, in what is now southern Israel. But Israel's War of Independence changed everything.
In 1948, the Israeli government threw us out of our land. From there, we separated from Hebron to Bethlehem to Al-Quds, Jericho.
The Jahalin have lived as refugees for 60 years since then. Some 7,500 of them live in the occupied territories near the Jerusalem-Jericho highway. We'll visit 4 of their encampments, all located in the shadow of Ma'ale Adumim, one of Israel's largest settlement cities. When we visited Han al-Ahmar, 10 minutes from Jerusalem, a UN truck was delivering its twice-yearly food supply, 1 sack of flour and a liter of cooking oil per family. UN agencies say over 80% of these families are food insecure. The Jahalin have no running water and no electricity.
على رامل قاعدة فش قاعدة لقينا لقمة خبز كأننا ما لقينا لقمة خبز مع السلامة حطونا بين إسرائيل وبين هالسلطة هي إحنا هنا قاعدات
وقولوا ما لنا لا هالشيء
ولا شغلة ولا عمل لا الأرض ولا لا دور ولا حاجة هي
وهينا مهددين ويرحلونا
وهي إحنا مهددين للرحيل شو بدنا نعمل يعني.
Ma'ale Adumim, nearby, has hundreds of new government-subsidized housing units and several medical clinics, all inaccessible to the Jahalin. But Israel seems to have little desire to better the lives of the Jahalin or uphold their human rights, despite its obligations under international law.
هذا والله أبوها اللي 3 سنين والله ما مقدر يحكم أرعيها مرمية طلبوها على المقاصد والله ما وصلتها متى تسبح تعال.
UNRWA, the UN refugee agency, may send a medic to the camp once or twice a year, but there are no nearby clinics. One of the worst problems is emergencies, such as when 4 Jahalin children ended up dying in accidents on the highway here.
אם אתה לא הולך לבית לירושלים, במחסום לא נותנים לך, אתה שטחים תחזור. קרה לי פעם לפני 4 שנים, הילד שלי שהוא נפל על הפה שלו והלכו כל השיניים שלו, התקשרתי ל-010, זה של הצד של ישראל, יגיעו כאן עם אמבלנס, מתי יגיעו לכאן, אתה שטחים, תזמין אמבלנס של השטחים, אנחנו לא מקבלים אותו. ועזבו אותו על הרצפה, והתקשרתי לאמבלנס של הרשות, הוא אומר לך, זה סי, אני צריך אישורים מדסאו, עד שיגיע לכאן, היה 2:10 בלילה. שלקח את הילד, מ7:30 עד 12 בלילה.
The life of these refugees is rarely stable. The highway here is being widened to accommodate settlers, tourists to Jordan, the Dead Sea, or the Galilee, and military vehicles.
אתה רואה, תסתכל שם, הם עושים בטונדה בצד של הכביש, אין שום רכב, שדיברנו קודם, אין שום רכב שתעצור כאן, או תעבור כאן. או לא רק רכב, אין אנשים שיכלו עברו את הבטונדה הזאת בגובה של 1.20 מטר, יעברו, אישה יש לה ילד, אישה ברעיון, איך תעבור את הבטונדה הזאת?
So you cannot connect everywhere to everywhere on highways. The village is not authorized. So to build something for an unauthorized neighborhood, it's ridiculous.
Maytal is head of this part of Area C of the West Bank. Since the Oslo Accords of 1993, some 62% of the West Bank and areas around all the major settlements is classified as Area C. Here, Israel retains military authority and full control over all civilian affairs, including over some 27,000 Bedouin refugees. And every shack, every school, and every small animal enclosure is built, according to the Israeli government, illegally and can be demolished at any time.
Under the Fourth Geneva Convention, destruction of private property without military necessity is absolutely prohibited. It's just prohibited. Can't be done. Now, there's no military necessity claimed by the Israeli army, so there's no legal justification. It's very clear in the text of the Geneva Convention that you can't just destroy people's homes.
Nonetheless, almost all the Jahalin have outstanding eviction orders and anxiously await their next displacement. Until recently, the Jahalin in the Anata encampment could travel easily into Jerusalem's Old City, with the largest traditional market in the region taking place on Fridays, the day of prayer.
We took animals from here to sell it in Jerusalem. They come from all the Palestine to Jerusalem on Friday. That it's the famous day. And we bought the milk and the cheese, which what we can do.
You sold?
Yeah, sold in the old city. Now we haven't a place to sell it.
Israel's closure regime has made travel to Jerusalem impossible. Since 2003, with the building of the Israeli wall, their fate has been sealed.
This is a big problem. After they build the wall and they don't allow us to go to Jerusalem, the Bedouin has a difficult life. They can't go to Jerusalem and they can't go to the desert with their animals. Sheep, every family, like me, I have 150. Now I haven't any because I sold it. I haven't a place.
Traditionally, a Bedouin's animals are the center of his life and his main livelihood. This has all been lost.
We don't know what to do. We don't. It's I born in with the animals all the time in the tent in the desert. I am not an engineer or teacher or I can mend the car or like this. All the time our work is with animal, and it take a long time from us to learn what can we do like the village, like the city.
The Jahalin can see Jerusalem across the valley, including hospitals on the hill. But to go there for a medical emergency or any other reason is now impossible. Wadi Abu Hindi. The only access is by this dirt road. In the West Bank, over 300 kilometers of highways are strictly for settlers.
The paved road up there is connecting Mali Adumim to Kedar is only to connect these two settlements together. It's not to serve the Palestinian or the Bedouin community around them. When it's raining, the road cannot be traveled on. Sometimes they'll tell you about cases where people have died because they could not get them to the hospitals in time or to get an ambulance here to get to the hospital in time.
The school is the center of the camp, as it is at all the other ones. It has been demolished several times by the Israeli army until an agreement was made that if it remained the only permanent structure in the camp, it could stay. Like the rest of the camp, it has no running water. Electricity is from a generator.
My name is Jahalin.
The corrugated metal roof leaks in winter. The building has no insulation, except bamboo thatch recently added to the mud walls.
دائما نبني المدرسة لأن 15 سنة في صار أولاد متخرجوا وصار داخل في الجامعة من المدرسة. فالمدرسة بالنسبة لنا نور، يعني هي النور اللي احنا شايفينها بتنور المنطقة. الأطفال اللي ما كانوا يقدروا يروحوا والبنات ما يقدروا يروحوا على المدارس البعيدة نتيجة بعد المسافة والطرق والطرق الالتفافية على الطريق والخوف من الطريق. هلا كل أولادنا الحمد لله بتعلموا، أنت شايف فيها 130 طالب بدرسوا.
In the mid-1990s, some families were forcibly evicted from where they lived nearby because of expansion of the settlements in the Ma'ale Adumim region.
هو احنا كنا موجودين قبل مستوطنات كيدار اللي جنبنا، لما اخذوا الارض وبنوا عليها، وكنا حتى نتواجد يعني قسم منا على الارض اللي بنوا عليها، بس كنا يعني في حالة ترحال كم من متر في الشتوية للشمال لليمين.
Abu Yusuf lives daily with the contrast between the Jahalin shacks and the nearby settlement villas, clearly visible on the hilltops.
يا أخي الفرق كبير، هم أولادهم بروحوا في أحسن الحافلات على المدارس، في عندهم أحلى الملاعب، في عندهم أحلى الحدائق، أحلى البرك في الصيف. إحنا أولادنا للعكس بيلعبوا في التراب في الطين.
The settler population has doubled since the Oslo peace process started. The settlements have been built with billions of dollars of state support. Things are very different in Wadi Abu Hindi.
إنسان 20 سنة بظل محلي، لا عندي اتصال ولا كهرباء ولا طريق حتى أمشي عليها، حتى نص الشيوخ والنساء كانت تتولد في البيوت تموت لأنه ما في مواصلات في وقت الشتوية. أنت شفت الطريق، أنت ما بتقدر أنت تعيش في قصر وأنا تسكنني في ثلاجة وتقول لي أنت بدك تظل مجمد طول حياتك.
The school day over, the children go home on foot and on donkey, traveling up to 5 kilometers. We drive back through the tunnel under the settler-only road, going up the unofficial dirt entrance. We head towards nearby Ma'ale Adumim, only a stone's throw away. Big surprise when a few minutes later we meet some of the boys who beat us up the hill from the school. Ma'ale Adumim is the third largest Israeli settlement, with 39,000 residents. It has 14 schools run by the Israeli Ministry of Education and an education budget of over $10 million. It has 2 shopping malls and 4 swimming pools. In case of medical emergencies for settlers, it's a 7-minute ambulance ride to Jerusalem hospitals. In 1998, with lawyers' help, about 35 Jahalin families made a deal with the Israeli army. In exchange for evicting them to build a new neighborhood in Ma'ale Adumim, the state gave them plots next to the nearby Palestinian towns Azariah and Abu Dis. This was the only time since the occupation began that Israel has given so-called state lands to non-Jews. Generous indeed, except the land wasn't Israel's to give. Sliman Mazara remembers clearly the day they were moved.
It was rainy, snowing, windy in that day. The people, the animals, all of they in the ground.
Later, they were given shipping containers to live in. Eventually, Israel gave them minimal subsidies to build houses. They went to court again and succeeded in securing an electricity supply, and they have running water. But all is not well in this village.
The life of the Bedouin, it means a tent, animals, and big area. The 3 things now forgotten we haven't, as the life of the Bedouin here is finished.
The grazing traditions they had for generations are no longer possible due to the Israeli presence in Area C, and very few families still keep animals.
No place for them. We bring barley, everything for them here. Because we need to grow animals. We like to grow animals here because when they see our sheep and goats here, it's our job. يعني, I am come happy.
هاي بالشقلوب هاي إيمان عيد خميس هاي
يلا قطر حط شدتك في المدرسة في الشنطة عشان ما تخربيه. عشان اجيب لك اياه الحين بس اخلص انزل على ريحة واجيب لك ايه احلى شيء فيها.
نمشي.
عشان ناجحين شاطرين في المدرسة اجيب لكم هدايا.
The only permanent structure here, as in the other camps, is the school, this one made of car tires and mud. Funding came from European NGOs or activists. A demolition order hangs over the building, as do eviction orders on all these Jahalin. Since the Jahalin built the school, work permits have been impossible to obtain from the army. So the desperate poverty is increasing fast.
زي بيرك زي 3 سنين אבל יתחילו בוכוח מתי פנינו בית ספר. היה כל החבר'ה הזאת מעל הגיל 18 היה עובד או במשור אדומים או במעלה אדומים או נגיד בשופים בכאן. ועכשיו היום אין אף אחד ביישוב הזאת, אין אף אחד באלון, ביישוב של אלון, אין אף אחד ביישוב של מסבי ריחו, אין אף אחד בנפה פרת. The
army, as always, has another story.
So if they are not getting a permit, either they have a security problem or a police problem in his file, or nobody is asking for them. That's it.
We're up the hill at the back of the school.
هذا الخط جديد، خط كان ماشي من هناك جابوه من هون. هسا طلبنا في النقطة هاي انه حولوها لبعد 500 متر او لهيك 500 متر بالضبط. تطلع وين حطوها على الشباك تبع المدرسة.
You don't want to hear the solution. They can move to somewhere else. This is one of the main pipeline of sewage. Again, they are there without a permit. Most of the drainage and the sewage is running alongside with roads. And this is the case.
Is there a grand design behind all this suffering? Since 1994, Israel has sketched out plans to fill in what it calls the E1 area, east of Jerusalem. This development would physically link Ma'ale Adumim to Jerusalem. With this, the two-state solution will be dead. Going right through the center of it is the widened highway number 1. Finishing the E1 plan will mean evicting all those within the area, the entire Jahalin Bedouin population. Displaced and living lives of refugees for 60 years, they will be uprooted once more. We asked Lieutenant Colonel Meital about such an Israeli plan.
We had a meeting with the Central Command himself and his staff. Try to decide how to push and how to try to find a place to resettle them. and we're giving them money. We're giving them money. That money is a starter to convince them to move and to start to build their houses.
Basically, what he's doing in reality is giving away Palestinian village land, and he's giving that away from the village or the nearby neighborhoods to the Jahalin. So he's giving away stolen land to somebody else.
There's no any example around the globe that the government is giving people piece of land and money. But we are doing it.
If they really wanted to relocate the Bedouins in a fair and equal way, why don't they just put them in the settlements and give them tracts of land inside Ma'ale Adumim where there already is infrastructure and electricity and sewage and schools, okay? And everything is zoned there for building. If there's really good faith here, why don't they allow the Bedouins to live there? And the reason is because Ma'ale Adumim is a Jewish city, for Jews only, for Israelis only.
Sliman Mazara was moved to make way for Ma'ale Adumim in exactly the way the Israeli government, according to Meital, plans to move the rest of the Jahalin and eventually all 27,000 Bedouin in Area C.
I witnessed the eviction, the forced displacement of those Jahalin. I was their lawyer. We lost in court. And during the eviction, we had residents of Ma'ale Adumim watching it. I mean, these people were forcibly put on a bus and all this stuff in trailers and then dumped by the garbage dump. I mean, they resisted going. The residents were saying, good riddance, good riddance.
It's good for anyone to change his life to better, but not to force him to change his life. If you force him to change his life, you change his life as you like, not as he like.
We don't thought we happen like this, the Holy Land here. It's Holy Land for everyone.
العلم علم سواء في مغارة أو في بيت شعر أو في مدرسة حجر. وأنا بتأمل إنه يطلع من أولادنا مجموعة محامين حتى يدافعوا عن حقوقنا.
What we need is teeth to international law. We need enforcement, and we need something that would influence Israel to understand there's a price to be paid for building this highway, for evicting civilians under occupation, and for expanding settlements.
אם אומרים תעוף מכאן, לא מעניין אותם, אפילו תעוף אם יהיה מקום בין השמיים והרצפה והקרקע, תלך למעלה.
The plans are imminent and urgent. In a recent Haaretz newspaper interview, the Israeli military confirms it will start moving the Jahalin and other Area C Bedouin in January 2012. According to the article, the Jahalin have been told that if they refuse to move, they will be evicted by force.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. And we'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand one day. Deep in my heart, I do believe one day. And we'll break down the prison walls. We will tear down those prison walls. Together we will tear down the prison walls on that day. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we will tear down all those prison walls on that day. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we will tear down all those prison walls on that day. And the truth will set us free. The truth will set us free. Truth will set us all free on that day. And deep in my heart, I do believe that the truth will set us all free on that day. And we shall overcome on that day.